All right, so we're back talking about Ai Wei Wei here and his practice. I'm just going to start off by watching a short clip. Now, Wei Wei actually recently had a video made on him, so he agreed to it. It's called Never Sorry, so I encourage you to maybe see if you can watch a bit of the film. And it records his practice over the last couple of years. So I'm just going to play that for you now.
He's Beijing Andy Warhol. He wants to shock you. When you see him drop a Neolithic pot, he's saying, I love the culture, but I want something new. I think the most important media of our time is Twitter.
They call him Ai Shen online, Ai God. That's a very dangerous description in China.
What inspired you to come up with this project?
5000多学生，对不对？你一口否认这个没有必要的啊！
你得调查一下有没有豆腐渣工程。
Is he really allowed to say these things?
Are you worried? Yes, I am worried.
We gotta push this next happen. 操你妈祖国！
草泥马祖国。
Okay, so we saw there a few points about Wei Wei's practice. Let me just get this slideshow going again. One of the works which we saw briefly was this work Remembrance, and you can see it, part of it here. So this was part of a show called So Sorry that took place in Munich in 2009, and the show was actually made to commemorate thousands of school children who died in a Chinese earthquake in 2008. And it's very much so a politically charged work because it delves into this idea about, was this a cover-up about the number of students who died, and what caused this? And Wei Wei really is kind of stirring the pot here and putting his own life at risk in kind of accusing the government about their tofu construction, as he calls it, the way that they actually constructed those schools, and of course the schools that collapsed and killed thousands of children. So you can see here on May 12, 2008, an earthquake with the magnitude of 8 on the Richter scale occurred in China. Among the 80,000 victims, there were several thousand children who were buried under the collapsed schools. Because the schools remained conspicuously unharmed, accusations were made about that botched building work. However, they were rejected by the government fairly quickly. Now, Ai Weiwei actually put together a team of about 30 volunteers who were researching and literally going around to these sites, finding these bodies of these school children who were killed during the earthquake and figuring out who they were because the government wasn't doing it. So they actually came up with over 4,000 names of these children who had died, and he published those names on his blog, which brings into this whole other part of Wei Wei's work, this idea of using social media to get his message across, and especially in a country like China, where things like social media aren't actually able to be accessed via the internet. The government has a strict control over what websites they can view. He's really challenging the Chinese government and puts himself at risk. So you can see here some of the names of those school children that were published. They're just stuck up on a wall, but he published those publicly on a blog. Now, the work Remembering was designed for a facade of a building that consisted of about 9,000 backpacks made for that purpose. It's an installation, and it's meant to recall those children who were killed during those earthquakes. There's several colours, and they spell out a sentence, "She lived happily for 7 years in this world," and it makes reference to a quote from a mother of a child that was killed during those earthquakes. It kind of references computer pixels and stretches across the whole facade. It's 100 metres long and 10 metres high, and is attached to the columns in front of a building with a steel structure. So he's chosen that building specifically because steel structures that are built all around the world have the purpose of resisting these earthquakes, which these school buildings obviously did not have. And you can see another image of that installation there with the backpacks, and you can see that it obviously reads a text. Okay, I'm going to stop it there and pick it up with sunflower seeds next time.